Hi everyone, in this video I'm gonna try to explore something I want to try for a while, and I think it's actually a pretty fair test. You know how every time a new AI model comes out, everyone argues about which one's better, and that conversation usually happens around some coding benchmark or an abstract puzzle that nobody outside the research lab actually cares about, and I want to try something closer to real life. So here's my idea. I want to take two AI models from the same company, Claude Fable 5 and the Claude Sonnet 5. One's built to be fast, the model that most people already reach for every day, and the other's model is a flagship. They are built for the heavy, slow-down, and really thin kind of work. And instead of a benchmark, I want to give both of them the exact geography the investor that might actually ask for. Look at the stock, pull the real numbers, and tell me if it's worth buying or not. Will two models from the same company even agree with each other's? Would one catch something the other completely misses? Honestly, I still don't know. So let's set this up together and find out. Okay, so in this project, I'm gonna use Claude Desktop, and in here, what we're gonna do is to connect our Claude Desktop into the real-time Indonesia stock market data. And in this project, I'm gonna use Sectors app. So what we're gonna do now is to connect Claude Desktop into the Sectors app. So now we can go to the Customize, we can go to the Connectors, and then you can click this plus icon, add the custom connectors, and you can add the sectors connector. But in here, you need to paste the remote MCP server URL. So what you're going to do is go to the docs.sectors.app, and you can click this recipes and scroll down, and you find the sectors in cloud. And you can go down, scroll down, and you will find this URL that you need to copy, and you need to paste in here. You can name this connector with sectors connector. And now you can click add. And now you can connect with this sectors MCP. But before that, you need to make sure that you have the sectors app inside the plan so that you can connecting sectors MCP into your Claude Desktop. And now in here, you can allow access. Okay. Okay, so now you have successful to connect sectors into your Claude Desktop. And now we can start our experiment comparing Claude Fable 5 and the Claude Sonnet 5. Okay. For the test subject, I'm going to use two totally different companies. The first is the GoTo, which is Indonesia's big tech and e-commerce company, and also the BBCA. This is the biggest bank in Indonesia. They're from a different industry, different everything, but that's kind of the point. I want to have a real comparison, not just an easy one. And now it's time to test two Claude AI models, Fable 5 and the Sonnet 5, to analyze financial data from the IDX. We will use the same prompt for both models. We will ask Claude to give his advice on which ticker is better to buy right now. Is it GoTo or BBCA? So let's get started. Okay, so now I'm going to use the same prompt for both models, Sonnet 5 and Fable 5. And I will ask Claude to pull the latest financial for GoTo and BBCA and tell me which is better to buy right now. And I'm going to use Sectors app in here. They will provide the real-time IDX stock data. And what we're going to do now is just click and enter and waiting for several minutes until Claude gives us the answer. Okay, so now I'm going to use Sonnet 5 in here. And if you want to change from Sonnet 5 to another models like Fable 5, Opus or something, what we're going to do is just click in here and you can choose the model that you want. So now I'm going to use Sonnet 5 and just enter this prompt. Okay, so now the Sonnet 5 has finished, and I will explain the analysis result from the Sonnet 5. The first is the GoTo. Its market cap is about 57 trillion rupiah. And right away, Sonnet 5 points out something important, I think. The P/E ratio doesn't really mean anything here. It's negative, about minus 88.5 times, and that happens when the company is still losing money. And the ROE is minus 2.2%. The ROA is minus 1.4%. And in simple word, the company is still losing value, not making it. But here's the data I like. Debt to equity is only 0.18. That's a low debt. So even though GoTo is not profitable yet, it doesn't owe a lot of money either. GoTo's net loss for the past year is about 644 billion rupiah, but there's a good context here too. The losses are a lot smaller than before. No dividend, of course, and the stock price is down about 50% for the past year. And now the BBCA, this is a totally different story, as the market cap is about 738 trillion rupiah, and around 13 times bigger than GoTo, and its P/E ratio is 12.7 times, which for a big banks is a fair price. Its ROE is over 20%, and that's not a mistake. That's a real strong profit. Its net profit for the year is 58 trillion rupiah. It even pays a dividend about 3.6% last year. But here's something interesting. Sonnet 5 point this out on its own. BBCA's stock price is down about 30% over the past year, and that's a bigger drop than GoTo's 50%, and BBCA is the one actually making money. Sonnet 5 didn't ignore this. It said this is worth digging into more. Maybe money is moving out of bank stocks. Maybe foreign investors are selling, or maybe the price was just too high before. So what's the final answer? BBCA is a stronger and safer choice. It's profitable and it pays income. GoTo is more a risky bet and it's not making money yet. So the whole idea depends on its losses getting smaller and smaller until it finally returns a real profit. So it's not that one is better than other. They are just two different kind of risks. And of course, it ends with the normal disclaimer. This is not financial advice. Okay, that's the actually pretty good answer, I think. Real numbers, real warnings, and it even points out its own limit. So that's the Sonnet's 5 takes. So what if the Fable 5? Let's see how the Fable 5 answer. Okay, so for the next experiment, what we're gonna do is we need to copy this prompt because we want to use the same prompt for both models, and we need to go to new task and paste the same prompt and change your models from the Sonnet 5 into Fable 5. And now we can just click and enter, and we need to wait for around several minutes until the cloud gives us the answer. Okay, so Fable 5 is done, and right away it gives us a clean table, both stocks side by side, and GoTo's share price is 50 rupiah, BBCA is 6,050 rupiah, and the market cap is 57 trillion rupiah for GoTo. And here's something new. Fable 5 adds a row that Sonnet's 5 did not show us, a forward P. That means the P ratio based on next year's expected earnings, not last year's. For GoTo, it's still negative, minus 9.4, and for BBCA, it's 12.5, almost the same as before. So BBCA's price looks steady either way you measure it. And the current numbers match what we already saw. GoTo's still losing money, minus 2.2% ROE and no dividend. And the BBCA, they have a strongly profitable 22.4% ROE and revenue of 114.2 trillion rupiah and profit of 58.1 trillion rupiah. Look at this dividend number. Fable 5 says that BBCA paid 356 rupiah per share, and Sonnet 5 told us 305 rupiah per shares, about 3.6%. Those don't match, and we will come back to that in a second. And Fable 5 also pulls in analyzed rating, which is new. Out of 23 analyzed, 22 rate BBCA a buy or better. For GoTo, 14 out of 20 rate it a buy or better too. So even GoTo has fans, just with less conviction. And here's a fun detail. Fable 5 points out that GoTo's 50 rupiah share price is actually the lowest price allowed on the whole Indonesia stock exchange, and it's sitting right at the floor, so it literally cannot trade any lower. And here's the boldest number in the whole answer. Fable 5 puts out an actual price target for BBCA, an estimated fair value of 13,674 per share. That's more than double where it's trading right now. At its final call, if better buy means better value for the risk right now, the data points to BBCA. GoTo could still pay off big, but only if you are willing to bet on it actually turning profitable. And just like Sonnet 5, it closes with the same kind of disclaimer. This is information, not advice. Okay, so let's put both answers next to each other. The first is the good news. They agree on the big picture. Both models says that BBCA is the stronger, safer pick. Both says that GoTo is a bet on the future, not a bet on today's numbers. And almost every core number match: market cap, revenue, profit, ROE, PE, all lined up the same on both sides. And that's a good sign. It means that both models are reading the same real data from the sector set correctly. But here's the one real difference: the dividend number. Sonnet 5 says 305 rupiah per share, about 3.6% yield. But Fable 5 says 356 rupiah per share, about 5.9% yield. Same company, same life tool, two different numbers, and that's worth double checking directly into the sector set before we say that which one's right. And that's worth double checking directly in the sector set before we say which one's right, instead of guessing. The other difference is depth, not accuracy. Fable 5 added a few things Sonnet 5 didn't bring up at all: forward PE, analyzed ratings, the full price detail on GoTo, and an actual price target for BBCA. So Sonnet 5 gave us a clean, solid answer, but Fable 5 gave us the same answer plus some extra layers. So at the end of it, same prompt, same live data, two different AI models, and they landed in the same place. BBCA is the fundamentally stronger, safer stock right now, and GoTo is a real bet on the future, not a bet you'd make for today's numbers. The real takeaway is not which model is smarter, is that the first model gave us a trustworthy answer fast, and the flagship model gave us the same answer with more layers underneath it. So pick the tool that makes the job. If you want to try this yourself, the exact prompt is in the description below, and remember that none of this is financial advice. Always check the number yourself before you make any real decision. And if you like watching the video like this, don't forget to subscribe and let me know in the comments which stock or which pair of models you want to see tested next. So see you in the next one.